Welcome to the Nice Guy Myths Busted series of the Drop the Mask podcast. Together, we shine a light on the faults, the habits, roles, and thoughts that have never been the real you. When you see them clearly and stop making them part of your identity, they lose their power. Without that recognition, you'll always be pulled back to the same cycles of frustration and pain. But with it, you can return back to your true self, the confident, connected man you've always been beneath the patterns. So let's get started. I recently had a conversation with a friend, let's call him Chris. And Chris lived together with this one girl he thought was really attractive. And he was asking me, okay, what should I do? Should I approach her? Should I not? And we kind of explored the options for him. And what became clear very fast was that he thought of himself as not being good enough yet, not being developed enough, he sees all his internal problems and internal struggles, and he doesn't want to put her through that. He doesn't want to cause her pain, and therefore was like, okay, I need to work on myself first before I can approach someone or can ask someone out on a date. I specifically can ask her out on a date. The pattern which came through here was very clearly that he just wanted to avoid hurting someone else. And he actually saw it as a very noble thing to do. The thing here, though, was that he wasn't afraid that he gets hurt. He was only afraid about the other person. And before we get into why that is and why that is false and not a good behavior, I want to give you another example. Another friend, let's call him Alex. And Alex had 1-2 dates with this one girl already, and he wanted to decide if he wants to move further or not. And he also felt like not ready yet. He's also in a situation where he's just building up a business. So there are obvious, logical reasons for that. But we got also to the same conclusion that he was kind of having this mindset of, if I end it now, I can avoid pain in the future. And he said he drew from past experiences and where it didn't work. And if I end it now and I'm not going any further, then I can avoid more pain in the future. And what it means is that these two people right now, they're avoiding putting themselves in a situation where they potentially hurt someone and therefore missing out on potentially really good opportunities. Because karmically, you open yourself for both when you step into a new opportunity, right? It can be the best experience ever. And it could be maybe with your wife and kids, if that's the thing you're striving for, if that's what you want, building a family. But it could also cause a lot of hurt, and you don't know which ones of these two it will be, or maybe even both, right? So why is that false in you? Why is that a false behavior? And why is that not noble as the first friend thought it would be? So the main reason why that is not a noble behavior is because you don't do that to really protect the other person, but the underlying reason is that you want to protect yourself. Because as a nice guy, you're so dependent on the other person's emotional state. You're so codependent that you want to avoid their pain, but not for a just nice reason because you really want to be a good person, but you are afraid that you have to endure the pain because it makes you feel sad and shitty when you cause someone else pain. Plus, how does the other person see you? The other person might see you as a bad person, as someone who's not good, who does evil things. And that's something nice guys really, really dislike and try to avoid. And therefore, if you don't even approach her, and if you don't even try to build a relationship or inviting her for a date, then you can avoid her pain in the first instance, but ultimately it's your own pain you're avoiding, and it's your own insecurities about being seen as a bad guy. So what results out of this behavior is oftentimes that you ghost the other person, or you're not really communicating what you feel and what you want and what you don't want, and you're maybe just overreacting and end things before they really got started. And you tell yourself that there's another way. There will be another time and I will be a different person. I'm going to be way more healed. I have to work on myself first, without realizing that that future will never really come. Are you ever really healed fully? Yeah, we can learn more about ourselves. But I think the most and best way of healing is also to build that awareness, to build that presence. Yeah, it's important. But then going into these real life examples and tests and getting tested every day and working through these. This is what life is about. This is what being courageous is, right? Like being afraid of things and going through them. Another reason why it's not a good behavior is you take away the agency of that woman, right? You already decide that she probably is going to be hurt, you're probably going to hurt her, and you're making the plan of basically not that won't happen, and you decide for her, oh no, like we shouldn't even try it. But it all comes out of fear and not out of love for the other person. So basically, you don't trust the other person to manage their emotions, to be maybe okay with having pain every now and then. And we have to remember that pain is inevitable. Only suffering is a choice. Like pain is something which will, like everybody endures every now and then. And you can't avoid pain. But we're so afraid of causing pain to someone else as nice guys that going into situations where we believe we could potentially cause someone pain, and we don't trust that other person that they're able to deal with that pain. Because maybe we're not able to deal with that pain, or we're not able to deal with the pain that someone else thinks we're bad and they're projecting on us. And they say, oh, you're such a bad person, you're a toxic man, maybe, right? You're a predator, you're like all the other men, and that hurts. That hurts inside. And this was one of my biggest reasons why I didn't want to take any real risky steps, because I was afraid of what the other person's opinion of me might be when they get to know me, how that eventually plays out. Because I had no self-worth, no self-esteem, no self-confidence. But we have to remember that we're not the saviors of the other person. We're not here to manage other people's emotions. We're not here to manage other people's boundaries. And now that you have that knowledge, you can start to analyze in your own life and see and kind of observe in which areas of your life you're doing that. Maybe with family, with friends, there's with your partner, of course, or with women in your life. Ultimately, relationships require risks. Being vulnerable, loving someone, open your own heart. That means opening yourself and the other person for pain. And the best thing we as nice guys can do is being okay with sitting in pain by ourselves, having that uncomfortable emotion and letting it be there. And then also trusting the other person that they're also going to be okay. Even if they have a really painful period, and even if we have to end things further down the line, but you never get to the outcome you deserve, the things you crave, the life you want when you're not taking any risks, right? Like a baby who just started to walk, like it took many attempts of standing up and falling down, and literally maybe having a little bit of pain because of the falling down. If that baby would try to prevent the pain fully, then it would never start to walk. And this is so obvious in this comparison, right? But like this is what a lot of people, me included through my whole 20s, did every single day. Trying to not rock the boat, trying to be the good guy, trying to avoid pain for others and for myself. And that's not a good behavior, because it doesn't bring you the success and the happiness you want. With that being said, I have an actionable quest for you, like every week. I'm going to read it here. This week, notice one moment where you feel the urge to protect someone from hurt by making a choice for them. Pause. Instead of stepping in, practice sharing honestly what you feel and then let them respond. So when you notice you want to protect someone from pain and you make a decision for them, you take away their agency, try not to and see how that feels for you. Maybe there's fear coming up, which is okay. Let the fear be there, like let it be. But really try to let the other person decide for themselves what they want to do. And don't try to protect them or be the savior for them. And I also have 4 journal prompts for you guys who are very afraid of hurting others. First one, am I protecting them from pain or protecting myself from feeling like the bad guy? Second, where in my childhood did I learn it was my role to manage other people's emotion? Third, how does it feel in my body when I imagine letting someone make their own choice, even if it leads to hurt? Number 4, what would it mean to trust others are strong enough to handle their emotions? So these questions will also be down in the description. So thank you for tuning in. This fear of hurting others and causing others pain is really common, especially for nice guys. And building the presence, building the awareness within ourselves and noticing these patterns is the first step to step out of them and to come back to your true self and to find that separation between who am I really and what kind of behavior patterns are not really me and are just this, learned behavior from childhood where I try to survive. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope this helped a little bit to discover yourself a little bit more, to get to understand yourself a little bit more. And I see you next week.